Remember, no matter how things go in any court in any country, what runs everything is the other side.
There are unseen energies at work which have manipulated the human race for thousands of years in ways that even researchers are not aware of. Even people who have spent 20 years researching this don't grasp just how manipulated the human race has been, because all these people are being identified at a very early age and siphoned off, and end up working in universities or corporations who are then given contracts. They work on those contracts never to see whatever happens to them, because they are taken and used towards this goal that this unseen consciousness has. Why don't we talk about the Archons? All this has been known for many thousands of years. Many people would argue with me who have a very accepted view of science. All of the great big advances have come with the help to develop technologies that will enable these creatures to obtain what they need.
Almost nothing of any value about these reptilian advanced ETs doing it to humanity. Whereas the Gnostics are people who meditate or go into trance. They can get out of body. And they did it for years and years, and they have these huge libraries of information about the multiverse, about life and existence beyond the physical universe matrix. And they totally ratted out the ETs, the controlling, dominating reptilian civilization, or entities, the presence here on Earth. While all these other brilliant sounding books go past it, don't talk about it, don't mention it, the evaluation of the importance isn't evaluated properly. Yeah, the reptilians, this, that, and the other thing, and they're doing that, and then, you know, we really should look at it as your spiritual, angelic hierarchy. Humanity is so far from needing to know anything about an angelic hierarchy, and I believe that the Gnostics have got it. People like John Lash are trying to interpret or translate, along with many others, trying to translate the Nag Hammadi Codex books that these guys wrote. And they're just remote viewers and out-of-body travelers. Coming back, humans with a human interest in humanity, telling us what they found out. And then, gee, what a coincidence, those libraries have been destroyed. And any other great books of the ancient times that might be ratting out what's really going on planet Earth are gobbled up by places like the Vatican and stashed away in their secret vaults and libraries. Nobody else gets to know what's really going on. It's not about how advanced the technology's getting, and it's about beings who are doing it to us right now. Whether you call them advanced ETs, Archons, beings from another plane or dimension or density, doesn't matter how you spin it, they're bullies. And they're mind controlling you in school. When you're a little kid, you're going to grow up to be completely confused, uncertain about what reality is, what you are. You're going to be a complete mess. Emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. That's what's going on planet Earth. You know, and they can walk into human bodies and devil worship and all that. We don't have to do that to understand the phenomena. The phenomena is there are Archons working with you and our civilization, our government. It's about what we're doing here and what's happening to us. And it's basically, we are the cattle. We are the sheep. We are another civilization's resources. Humanity has already been dominated and controlled. And we're so mind-fucked we don't even know it. Some of us do. Some of us get it. And we understand what these dark forces are doing, how they're doing it, and we're going from there. But life on planet Earth is so complicated and complex, and we've been pounded and programmed and manipulated and controlled in so many ways. With religion, education, science, technology, everything. We're being lied to and messed with on so many levels. But what it's really about is understanding who is doing it, who or what, and then why are they doing it to us, and then how they're doing it, and then what that does to us. And what it does to us, it makes us unhappy, it makes us sad, it makes us not enjoy life and living, and it keeps us from the joy and the greatness of life. Just pause, reflect. But while you're here, you can start understanding, or at least getting some ideas and some options, things you might want to do, things you might want to try out. Try to shake off the programming, get an understanding of what's going on right now with planet Earth and the beings on it, us, and who's doing it to us, what are they doing, why are they doing it, how that affects us, and what can we do about it. And then let's do that. So it's called suppressive. They're pressing us down, they're suppressing us, holding us back, holding us down. These beings, we'll just call them suppressive people, or suppressive entities, or suppressive beings. The short story, or the short definition, it's basically anyone who is trying to get you to be, do, have, or want what they want you to be, do, have, or want. They want to take away your personal freedom and your choice and determination and determinism and all this. And they want you to be a good little boy or a good little girl. They want you to go to school and get good grades. So that's them trying to get you to be what they want you to be. They will stop you from being, doing, having, or experiencing what you want to be, do, have, or experience. They're trying to get you to be, do, have, or experience what they want you to be, do, have, and experience. And they're trying to stop you from being, doing, having, or experiencing that which you want to do. They're doing this to us in secret. I mean, a lot of us, we get what the 13 families, the New World Order power elites, the rich, are doing to us. We get it, but most of humanity doesn't. But it goes beyond that. This whole Archon thing has to do with entities. So it's a real good idea to understand what entities are and how they affect us. All kinds of entities. How they've interacted with our governments here, the deals that have been made, and who's running the show. In the big picture, where are these ETs, these reptilians, and their gray minions? What is their agenda? And how much help do they have here on planet Earth with our government's super rich power elite? They have a lot. First things we got to understand is who they are, what they're doing, why they're doing it, how it's affecting us, and what can we do to change that. If you can spot who they are and what they're doing, that alone will take the power out of it. So the more people who understand this phenomenon, the reptilians, the grays, super rich power elites, the relationship between these ETs and the people, what they're doing to us and how they're doing it. And it gets very personal and very spiritual, what they're doing and how they're doing it. The simplicity of what the Gnostics were. They were going out of body, or consciousness shifting, into these other realms so they could get a better, clearer picture of what's going on with humanity and the relationship of the beings who are being human, their relationship with other beings who are not being human and not living in the physical reality system, the universe's densities and reality systems beyond the physical. There is a lot of game playing going on here. You and I, we're being played, we're being messed with, and we have to get up to speed to understand that we're being manipulated, dominated, and controlled, and how. Because we're being mind controlled. Our beliefs are being manipulated. Our understanding of life, which is our philosophy of life, is being dominated, controlled, and manipulated. And we need to break free and see a clearer picture of what the multiverse is and how we fit in. And these fat-ass books I've been mentioning aren't helping, unless they're telling us more about the Archons, the reptilians, other ETs, what they're doing here, why they're doing it, and how. So if you're getting information about what the ETs are doing here, why and how, and you're getting some sense of that, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. You got to shift consciousness. You got to get out of it to get this perspective, and you can start learning about what's going on with you, because you're not a human. You're a spiritual being. You get out of these human bodies. You don't live. This is not your natural, home universe. You get out of this place, and it's like, oh, you may not be home once you get out of here. But you'll be in some density, some reality system, with an environment of some sort, and other beings are going to come and talk to you. It'd be a good idea to get up to speed and get an understanding and learn some of your options. So whatever you do, when you make decisions, when you choose what you're going to do next, you're more well informed, so you don't end up making some choices that cause you to experience more limitation and cause you to come back to this physical reality system for another round of mind control, domination, and manipulation of your thoughts, your mind, your beliefs, your feelings, and everything. So that's my long-ass fat book on all this. Hope you liked it. So there you go.
So let's go back in time. Let's start with the beginning. First of all, there was a universal spiritualism that was worldwide for thousands of years. Gnosticism is a very deeper knowledge, and there were Christian Gnostics until the Catholic Church said, no, you guys know too much. We're shutting you down. We're sorry. We're going to be the new universal church, and that's what Catholic means, universal. So anyways, they were the new boys on the block, and they were going to spin doctor everything and to control all the information. So they allowed the Library of Alexandria, the sum total of all man's knowledge on thousands and thousands of parchments were burnt to the ground. They had to get rid of the old knowledge. They had to dummy down the population. Then they're off to the Mayans and the Incas, and they destroy their culture and all their records and their sacred writings, and burnt, torched, set on fire. So they don't want us to know anything. They keep us in the dark. This is a cattle pen where we're all kept in the dark. The Roman Catholic Church began to rise and put forth dogma and decrees and laws. And so the Gnostics were the enemies, because Gnostics didn't really jive with what the Catholic Church wanted. So might as well start exterminating. It's Sunday and it's sunny. Yeah, I might as well start exterminating. Let God sort them out. So anyways, they slaughtered the biggest bloodbath. The Inquisition, they slaughtered off sacred bloodlines. The elves, the fairies, the dwarves, they slaughtered them all off. It's power and control and a lockdown on knowledge. And so, they destroy the Incan knowledge and they destroy the Mayans. It's an information lockdown. And so that's what they did. Gnosticism disappeared, vanished from the face of the earth. It was gone. But it's made a comeback because they discovered some scriptures and stuff. And people are realizing, wow, this is real good stuff. This stuff goes deep. This stuff's deep, not like the fairy tales of Sunday school. And Jesus loved the little children, and he'd carry a lamb on his shoulder, So anyways, they had to go. You have the lords of karma. Those are the Archons. They're deeply malevolent beings who create war, strife, and disease on this earth so that we produce fear, anxiety, depression. And this is low energy that they feed off of. They're low energy feeders. They're bottom feeders in the dome here. This is a prison. This is a prison. This is a slave planet. They feed off our energy. They're the gatekeepers. They're the ranch hands. They're the ones that keep us in line, keep us behind the gate, in the pen, and we work for a living and we keep occupied while they feed off our energy constantly. It's like they're on our backs and with a straw in our neck going up into our brain, and they're just sucking everything out of us. And this is how they grow. And this was taught in all the ancient cultures of all the world. But now, with the rise of Roman Catholicism, they squashed that. They put an end to that, like, real quick. They'll disguise themselves as your loved ones or whatever. They're just trying to help you. And so what they do is they trick you. And what they did is they stripped out all references to reincarnation. Everybody believed in reincarnation. It was just a matter of fact for thousands of years until the Roman Catholic Church took over and said, enough! That was it. In the body, the Archons, disease and war and suffering and sorrow on us, and they feed off of us, but we have no control over them. And if we do, it's the power of intention, which is a different subject altogether. But people don't know about the power of intention and how its place in society. I want to mention a movie that really explains where I'm coming from. I knew all this stuff, and then when I saw the movie, I went, wow, confirmation. It's What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. Because in the afterworld, you create your own reality. It's a blank canvas. You paint it into anything you want. If you want a lovely place with a meadow and fields, well, you got it. But if you grew up thinking that God hates you and you're an evil sinner, it's not going to be a nice place. You're going to unconsciously paint a horrible place. This is like a temporary hell that you can get out of. You're going to have family members, just like in the movie, It was so incredibly accurate. Try and convince you. They'll take different forms and try and wake you up and try to get you out of that system of guilt and fear. And so that you can go to and create a real heaven for yourself, a real alternate life. And so in this life, you prepare for the next life. You understand that the Archons, they've got to understand you mean business. You're awake now. They'll try and stop you. They'll try and trick you, but you know better. But if you don't know better and you're just some kind of guy that never did anything and learned anything in life, and your favorite friend is your TV, well, you might not get it and you'll be sent back and the cell door will be locked again until you die. So you have to go through this over and over and over again until you understand that the gatekeepers are not all powerful. And when you get to this, you're all powerful. What the early faith taught, the original Christians taught, was that we have a higher self and a lower self. And this is the same with Jesus. He had a higher self and a lower self. The lower self may be going through reincarnation, but the higher self is in heaven. But the higher self, they're already in paradise. When you die and all your loved ones have reincarnated elsewhere in the world, you still see them. Your higher self connects to one another. You're one in the universe. And right now, prepare your canvas with what you want. Think about what you want on the other side, what you want to achieve. Think of what you want to do, make plans, what you want to create. The Archons, and they will try to convince you. They'll try to manipulate you with feelings of guilt, and remorse and regret. You got to kind of smarten up. And so there you go. That's the saving knowledge of Gnosticism, is knowing who you are, how powerful you are, and how they have no power over you. You are spiritual beings with the power of the universe. If you think some Archons are going to, and you create your own palette, your own individual palette with your own individual free will. Or you can join up others and maybe have a collective palette. Some people might add their own colors to your palette. And this guy, I'm out minding my own business, and he says, "A great day, isn't it? It's good to be in the Lord." And then going, "Oh, no, not another one. Oh, let us pray. Dear Jesus, please protect me from your followers." And so he's going, "A great day, great day." This is how he does it. Great day. And so I look up, and it's black with clouds, and it's going to rain. And I said, "Well, I think it's going to rain, actually." He looked at me, and he gave me the biggest scowly face, biggest poo-poo face you've ever seen. And then he goes, "You're so negative. You're not of the Lord, are you? You're negative." And I was just like, "What? Get me away from this guy." Wee-ho, wee-ho, wee. I mean, this guy's nuts. Absolutely nuts. And he's telling me all this garbage and filth. And he's trying to pretend he's positive. That was really weird. So anyways, the world is intensely evil, and it lies. Everything you have been taught about history, science, health, astronomy, everything, it's all a lie. You've been hoaxed. You have been gaslit right from birth. It's a lie. Everything is upside down, and it's all spin doctored. It's all a lie. The Bible has been spin doctored to death, and religion has been manipulated, and everything. And the moon landing is a hoax. I mean, it's obvious. I don't even know why people are stupid enough to deny it, because they want to listen to the music. Listen to the music. You know, and the reality is that it makes no sense. Everything's trial and error. They have to try to. So within 10 years, they do this impossible. They've never had the technology. It was never technology built on older technology. It was just build a ship and go to the moon. Just like that. Flawless. 6 missions. Ah, hey, baby. You know, we gone to the moon. Big Daddy's been to the moon and back. No hitches, no glitches, no mass explosions, nothing. It just went like clockwork. Oh, that's Apollo 13, which 13, gee, what a coincidence. Let's get some drama into this one. But, you know, technology has to be worked on, and trial and error for years and years and years. Like, it should have been worked on for at least 30, 40 years of technology behind it, experimentation. No, they just went, boom, they went to the moon. They had technology that's never been tried. They don't even know what to expect in space. You know, they had, what do you call it, the Van Allen radiation belt. They had no idea it was there. Oh, but they got through it, okay. Big Daddy got through it. I mean, what a crock of bull. You know what? I mean, it has to be years and years of trial and error and improving and adjusting and building upon layers of technology. And technology, you just don't build a little tin can, boom, it goes to the moon. And they had a computing system that was never really, I don't know, it wasn't tested or anything that I know of. It just worked perfectly. Everything just worked perfectly. And they put their tinfoil hats on. They protected themselves from radiation. And they just did it. And life's not like that. So that alone just blows the whole concept of the moon landing out of the water. They go from nothing, no background technology. They know nothing of what they're heading into. And yet they pull it off. They had all the answers. Everything works so well. Anyways, I'm wasting time. So it's a hoax. And now, everything's a hoax. Everything is a lie. You have been lied to on even the smallest little detail of something. You've been lied to. There's the nuclear atom. Doesn't exist. There's scientists now coming forward and saying, well, listen, the nuclear atom is a theory. It's never been proven. It's like gravity. Oh, there's Mike Tyson. There's gravity for you. No, it doesn't prove anything. So we live in a lie, and it's all lie, and it's all evil, an evil lie. Nobody's been arrested. Not one person's been arrested for the JFK assassination. Not one. NASA is a big fraudulent, because they lie and they twist and manipulate all the truth, and they gaslight you into a false reality. We're born in a false reality that's dictated to us by the media and television. Because even when you're a little brat, what do you mean? I'm innocent. I'm watching cartoons when I was a kid. But you know what I learned through television? I learned all about violence. I learned how to hit other kids. When in trouble, the Three Stooges, you know. One of the Three Stooges, I think it was Curly, they were at the airport and a fan came up to him and went, and poked his eye. He had to go to the hospital. He almost lost both eyes because they were trained and manipulated into this false reality. And so kids are trained, and they're adult cartoons now. And the kids are watching them just because they're a cartoon. You know, and it's just sick, and it's totally we've lost our moral guidelines. We've lost our moral compass. Everything goes now. People like Madonna are famous because they masturbate on stage, and everybody, oh, wow! Oh, man, that was really spectacular, wasn't it? You know,
I mean, we're going down so fast, and it's so scary. We're on a roller coaster ride. We've gone over the hump now. In the 50s, we were, we were sane. We could think. We had morality. Now we've got all these kids that are just destroyed. That generation is gone. They wouldn't know music if their life depended on it because they're too busy wearing their pants down to their ankle, having their underwear hang out. That's really cool. But in the 50s, we had some decency, eh? No man would go out outside the house without a suit and tie on, and women had their hair pretty and everything. And it's all just gone down. Now, men don't even look at women unless they're hot. Hey, babe is hot! It's just, wow. It's gone, but now it's spinning. It's going down. The Titanic's going down fast. The Mandela effect proved to me once and for all that reality can not only be changed, but we create the reality. And it's like that Star Trek episode of Shore Leave, where their thoughts were produced, and even the bad thoughts. They have bad thoughts. They'd be produced. They have a bad thought, and all of a sudden there's a warrior, Japanese warrior, right? So in the end, they learned how they had to control their thoughts. But we're not controlling our thoughts because we're thinking the thoughts of the Archons. The Archon has given us their mind. We think the way they want us to think. We watch the cartoons and we learn to be violent. Are we violent people? No, we're not. We're not a violent people. Human beings like to care for each other, like to help each other. But they've driven that out of us. They've smashed that out of us. Get it out! Pull it out! And we've become what we're not normally. We are... They say we are the ones we are waiting for. Really? Because if we don't know who we are, how can we be the ones we're waiting for? Because we deny that the world is getting far worse. So anyways, I believe we're going through the time of the dark night of the soul, where it's all being exposed. And like a dog just takes a dump on the rug, and pees and just walks away. He doesn't think anything of it. So the dark night of the soul is when you grab the dog and you push the dog's face to the ground and say, look, bad dog, bad dog. Then the dog understands, eh? We have never had to face our evil that we've created in the world. And we created out of ignorance, not because we're evil people, because of ignorance. We didn't partake of the fruit of knowledge because we were evil. We were curious. That's what humans are. They're curious. They're builders, and they're curious on how things work. And anyways, it's all... We have to face it. And when we pull open the curtain of the Wizard of Oz, it's us behind the curtain. So we have to take responsibility for what we have done. And only then can we move on. You can't solve a problem when you won't even admit to yourself that there is a problem. It's like an alcoholic. You can't cure an alcoholic who refuses to believe he is an alcoholic. And so therefore we have to strive like to control our thoughts. We have to have our own reality that has a moral compass and has prosperity and love and kindness. Not, get out there, man. Get out there, get what you can, babe. Hey, babe, a $1,000 bill. Look at that, eh? I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. And this is what's creating the evil. It's food for the evil productions in the world that say, yeah, you're right. You're not worth it. And we're going to take you down. We're not taught that we're special and we're endearing, that we have Christ within. We have the power of God within to change our reality. No. We're being taught the opposite. You love materialism. You're bringing everything down to the level of the beast. Okay? The primal forces of the beast, it's basically drugs, sex, and rock and roll. That's the way to go, bitch. And no, that's not the way to go. And so what do? Is you're adding to the collective consciousness. You're pumping materialism into the collective consciousness. But I think there could be a paradigm shift at hand when we finally, a mirror is put up to our face. Because out of ignorance, we create this evil. And it's not really our fault. They have kept us in a state of ignorance. They have kept the cattle stupid. And they lie about everything. And everything's upside down. There is no real reality. It's their interpretation of their reality. And their reality is a reality in which they need us. They've lied about every single thing in history, in our teachings, and the institutions of power have been brought down and shown to be liars, Masonic-controlled liars. And we're supposed to believe they told the truth about the sphere. They did. That's untouchable. That's God. No, they can't touch that. No, they told the truth. No, they don't. There's not one, no matter how small you get, they've lied about everything. They lie about who we are. They lie about, history is a lie. It just goes on and on and on. But we're just too busy. I'm going to feel happy, which is fine, but that's artificial happiness. You know, a lot of people who think that materialism is the road to happiness. Well, I just get that money, I get that good job, and I get that redhead down the corner there. You know, we're given a lie that materialism, and we believe it. We think materialism is where it's at. So therefore, we're giving more power to the gods of materialism, which induce evil onto us, terror and suffering. The states, I mean, these FEMA camps that are being put out, they will put us in FEMA camps. I mean, they're capable of it. I've looked at history and I realized they're capable of that. They've done worse in the past. But I can't talk about that. No, sirree. No. We're so controlled that... And now, speaking of the flat earth, now, I like the idea of a dome, because what does a farmer do when he has cattle? He keeps them penned in with a fence. You don't want that cattle going through that gate, and they're told, you don't go out there. Look at these movies and stuff. It's all about The Village. Look at The Village. Well, you don't go out there. There's monsters. You don't want to go out there. They're saying that with the dome now. There's bad aliens out there, evil aliens. You don't go beyond the dome. Because all the ancients talked about a dome. It's not a protected dome. It's a dome to keep us enslaved and producing fear and misery and suffering and destroying our lives so that they can feed like vampires. You know? But people just deny that too. Oh, you know, they're flat earth. They lie about that. They lie about everything. And now I've discovered everything is a lie. We teach kids evolution. We don't say evolution is a theory. Today we're going to learn about the theory of evolution. No, we're going to learn about evolution. You know? Everything is a lie. And so this is the thing, you know, we have to face that. We have to face the fact that everything's a lie. So now we can really know the truth. It is us who have given them their power. And once we realize that, we can take away their power. But no, we don't talk about that. We're into sports and hot chicks and oh, did you see the latest Madonna video? And oh, it was hot. And Miley Cyrus, isn't she cool? Whoa, yeah, with that big finger on stage rubbing her privates. I mean, that's awesome, man. You know, this is what you're facing.
The Archons press themselves into human skin. They press themselves into skin and pass themselves off as being human. They're not. They're alien invaders among us. They are literally the alien invaders among us. But people are just like, why are you telling me this? I work for a living. Don't bug me with this. Some people got too much time on their hands. You know, this is how they are disguised and how they blend in and subterfuge themselves with the human race. They are here to destroy us. They are here. Their programming is to steal, kill, and destroy. And what we have, humans have the divine spark. This is where all beauty and passion and romance and caring and sharing and empathy and everything comes from the divine spark within. That is spirit. That is the spirit that is merged with our soul so that we are a living soul. We become a living soul. Because we have the divine spark, they are extremely envious, jealous, hateful, and we disgust them because they don't have it. And they're obsessed. You'll see with Greys, who are another form of the Archons. The Greys are constantly checking their DNA. They're constantly interested in DNA because they're after the divine spark. They want to crush and destroy it. They want to rip it out so they can control us and have all power and control over us. They're constantly doing this. It's like the movie, the remake of the Planet of the Apes, where Caesar grabs one of these human slaves and pulls his jaw apart and says, "Is there a soul in there?" And everybody laughs. Well, they're obsessed. It's like a cat. A cat will be sitting there, as usual, and then hear a noise in the wall. You know, what's that? What's that? It's a mouse. So the cat's registering right away. It's a mouse. It's a mouse. And now they're fixated. And now the cat, I've had my cat stay up all night because the mouse didn't sleep. And just watching the wall. And this is what they do. We are their food source. They feed off our fear and our sorrow. They create a world of misery and suffering so they can feed off of our energies. They want to destroy. They come here to kill, steal, and destroy. That's their programming. They're so fixated and obsessed about ripping it out of us or controlling us with it. And they can't stop. This is what they do. Everything in this world that is beautiful and wholesome and clean, they destroy it and they crush it. They're doing it right now. Look what they've turned art into. A bunch of crap. A bunch of ambiguous lines and paint made with urine. That's the latest thing. And they have to bring us down. And they hate morality. They cannot deal with any morality. So they have to bring us down to the level of the beast. So we're driven by basic primal needs, including obsession with sex. Be obsessed with it constantly. Young boys and girls now, they're raised on hardcore perversion. Oh, but it's okay. Miley Cyrus is a good singer. Well, that's really cool, man. When I grow up, I want to be just like Madonna.
This is how sick it is. But they are the reason. Now, the genetic term for them is the Archons. I refer to them as Archons or the others because they're always watching us and they're always controlling us. They have created a society, gaslit society, where it's all an illusion. It's created so that it creates a false reality in which we need them. We need our institutions of power because we are not worthy, right? Government knows best. And this is where it all comes from. They control every aspect of our existence. It's like the outer limits. We control everything. We control the vertical, the horizontal. They socially engineer us. We don't even have our own culture. It is given to us. They have given us their mind of perversion and violence and aggression. But then people say, oh, no, you shouldn't talk about that. That's negative. Yeah, it can be if you're obsessed with it night and day. Oh, Obama's doing this and Obama's... And Soros, did you hear what Soros is doing? That's all obsession. You need to stay away from it, but you have to be aware at the same time. So don't be paranoid. Just be aware. It's just like parents don't teach their kids about pedophiles and black limousine and candy, eh? They don't do because that's negative. You don't want to scare the child. The child has to learn that there's a wolf in the bush or in the forest, and you don't walk down that certain path in the forest. You avoid the trouble. You need to, it's not negativity, it's an awareness, a survival awareness. Some people got too much time on their hands. These are the stupid people you have to listen to in life. They're so stupid, they might as well just lie down on a road and get hit by a car because they're just that stupid and stunned and ignorant, okay? But anyways, we have the divine, the war is against the non-humans and the humans, and it goes all the way back through Adam and Eve. It's all been documented. There's only two bloodlines on this earth. The Bible calls it the iron and the clay. And the clay and the iron do not cling to one another. They do not cling to one another. And so this is literally an invasion, an alien invasion. And remember the movie Independence Day? What do you want us to do? Die. They hate us. But no, we live our little lives and we kind of, we don't deal with this stuff. But you have to be aware of it. You don't have to dwell on it. You don't have to sit there and, must not sleep. Must not sleep. Because then you're creating the energy they feed off of. But you just have to, like, every baby fly has to learn about the spiders. Oh, Mommy, you're so negative. My pastor says you don't love in the name of Jesus. It's all this pacifying crap. A little fly, we are flies that we don't, it's not in our best nature to ignore the existence of these spiders because they're everywhere and they got their webs of control everywhere. And so if you don't know what you're doing, you fall in the web. Hey, pal, come on in, man. Got lots of partying happening. Hey, wow. Hey, sure, yeah. And the second the door shuts, you're dead. Okay, so this is the thing. The people don't want to know. They just, I want to watch the next Disney movie. Hit me, baby, one more time. So you can't live in ignorance, and you have to. Sooner or later you have to warn your children about pedophiles. So these Archons, which is a good generic term for the others, and so we've all been mind controlled by these. They control like the outer limits. They control the vertical, the horizontal. They control every aspect. They control our culture. There is no grassroots movement. Sorry, folks, there is no. They control everything, and you can prove this by trigger words. We've all been programmed and mind controlled for certain words that will, like that, shut them down, shut them down. So if you're speaking truth and you have to mention some of these trigger words, people just fly out. All you have to do is speak the word, and they'll flip out. No context given whatsoever, but they'll flip out. Oh, you're this and that. And out come the labels and shut him down. He's evil. Get rid of him. Ding, 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 dong. The witch is dead. The witch is dead. So people are just, they're not aware of the real dangers. Their nature is psychopathic. We're dealing with this mass evil. It's a larva within the apple of society eating its way out. It despises, these things despise morality. And look what they've done. They've torn away our morality and sensibilities. It's to bring us from the divine spark of beauty, compassion, to the level of the beast that wants to mate. It's a world where you sleep with one eye open. And what they do is they produce this fear in us. They develop, they gaslight society that thinks that fear and sorrow and disease is just a natural way of life. And it's not. It's all introduced by the others. They are the jackals and the hyenas that are coming into our area, causing trouble, destroying our morality. Oh, but Miley Cyrus is a good singer. Oh, yeah. Oh, there is no morality existing anymore. So all these teens now are our future generation that have no morals, no guidelines, no virtue, nothing. They're devoid human beings. They're human beings that have been programmed to the level of the beast.
Okay, it's a dog eat dog society. We think we've been programmed that's normal, and we've been programmed to not talk about them. I work for a living. People got too much time on their hands. It's all part of the programming. They're all psychopaths, and they will destroy you. They won't destroy you physically. They won't kill you, but they'll destroy your life within. It's basically gaslighting. Like a woman is really mad at her husband. He's just trying to be a nice guy, and she's like bitter or something, or jealous about him or something. Anyway, she burns his toast. Then he gets mad at her. He starts yelling at her. You did that deliberately. You burned my toast deliberately. And he knows her. He knows her little passive-aggressive, psychopathic ways. Oh, it was an accident. You're so mean. And she goes and tells all her friends, he abuses me so much. They gaslight. They create artificial reality. And then they pass themselves off as victims. So Archons is a good generic term, and the Archons always play victim. Oh, no. Once they're found out, they play victim. These are the satanic, Luciferian, malignant cancers of life that needs to be talked about. We don't have to dwell on it and get all fearful. Fear is what energizes them. This is their food. You can't bargain or reason with them. A fly cannot reason with the spider, because all the spider knows is, psst. And the shark. If you're in the shark's mouth, are you going to reason with the shark? You don't want to really do this, do you? Huh? And the shark's going to go, shut up, I'm trying to eat my lunch. I mean, this is what's happening all over in the mouse and the cat's mouth. You can't reason with the cat. Cat's fixated, absolutely fixated. These Archons are absolutely fixated on the divine God within. Oh, don't go there. No, that's not your connection to God. Your connection to God is established traditional churches. You go to a pastor, you go to a priest, that's how you get to God. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. That's the danger of religion. So they want to rip that out. They are the jackals and hyenas of society. They want to rip out that spark so they can control us, they can get it to control us. And this is why the gray Archons are always involved in kidnapping and genetic researching and stuff. So anyways, you have to be warned. It's not negative. See, that's what they do to shut you down. Oh, that's negative. You're scaring people. My little Billy cried all night. He just went, no, must not sleep. No, yeah, don't be paranoid. Just be aware. So, thank you very much.
What's their greatest fear?
Losing the human race. Losing the human race because we are their whole life. We are their food. They suck into the parasitic. They extract fluids and all kinds of bodily things, mainly fluids. They synthesize those and they use them as a drug. They will feed on people while they're sleeping at night. I think that's why chronic fatigue is becoming more and more common, because they will, and if it's not too harsh, you'll be okay. You're okay. I mean, I have it happen to me all the time. It's like a light tingling feeling in the energy center. It's like a little vibration. Vibration. Somebody's sucking energy. If it gets really intense, they can get your heartbeat going. And what they often do, and I've learned this from that big person I'm friends with, is they'll put you in a very vivid dream. And while you're having this very vivid dream, they will do all kinds of things to you, but your mind is distracted, so you don't wake up. They can also a situation where you're not capable of moving paralysis. They can do that. And then they pull people out of the body at night, and then they'll mess with them, wipe their memory, put them in, and they wake up, and most of the time they have no idea. I've heard this many times.
I'm going to tell you something a little bit different about the alien species. The bad news ones, there are 9 races of alien populations. To look at a human being as a bag of food. They're not cannibals. They don't eat the flesh and the bones and all that kind of stuff. They use the glandular secretions of animals and human beings as a mixture of the vitamins for their food. They get high off of our adrenal gland substances called adrenochrome. It's something like cocaine to them. Now, what can we do about it? Right now, if we do nothing, we can do nothing about it, and it'll continue to go on. Basically, we'll be led in the dark, and you'll keep seeing more and more.
We are their food. They suck into parasitic. They extract fluids and all kinds of bodily fluids. They synthesize those and they use them as a drug.
They use the glandular secretions of animals and human beings as a mixture of the vitamins for their food. They get high off of our adrenal gland substances called adrenal chrome. It's something like cocaine to them.
We are their home life. We are their food.
How about Bill and Hillary Clinton?
Hillary's one of the worst. Man, I mean, she was just malevolent sounding. Very, very, almost really demonic. She sounded very bad.
Have you reversed Al Gore?
Oh, yeah. He's very malevolent also. They're all playing on the same team. They're just pretending to be on opposite sides.
A place where some business is discussed despite what they say. The business that's discussed is discussed in a little place called the Underground. And that Underground is spelled with a capital U and a capital N. Underground. It was there I heard George Bush talking about mass genocide, what the plans were for mind control. And it was at Bohemian Grove that my daughter and I were subjected to brutal perversions, all of which were being covertly filmed. These covert films were then used for blackmail purposes because these criminals didn't trust each other. And they all had some bad information on the other one that they kept so that they could keep each other under control. I was also taken to various CIA near-death paramilitary compounds. One was in the Lake Shasta area, but the one I was taken to most often was in Lampe, Missouri. Lampe, Missouri is this little bitty place right near the Arkansas border. Not too far from Mena Airport. And it's a place where there's a whole lot of black helicopters and where guys are programmed to carry out military operations. And it's also a place where the Swiss Villa Amphitheater is located, where different country music acts who are involved in the white slavery and cocaine operations are brought through on a regular basis. In Nashville, the country music industry had been taken over by the CIA and was being used to transport the drugs throughout the country. Later, during the mid-'80s, a guy named Boxcar Willie came on the scene. Boxcar Willie sexually abused my daughter, and she's named him as one of her sexual abusers. But he also had been an overnight sensation through an ad that he did on television. An ad on television that used certain harmonics to make people think that he was something wonderful, and he became a success overnight because it was Boxcar Willie's job for the CIA to lure the country music industry closer to this major CIA cocaine hub near Lampe, Missouri. And the country music industry was subsequently moved to Branson, Missouri, particularly the cocaine operations and the white slavery aspects of it. It was also in Lampe, Missouri that I saw Bill Clinton and George Bush together. In 1984, they were there to carry out certain perversions as well as indulge in what they refer to as the most dangerous game. It's their favorite sport of hunting humans. It's taken from a military operation where a person fights for their life and runs for their life in an attempt to escape being hunted. My daughter and I both endured being hunted by George Bush, and he's often said that it was his favorite sport. The hunting humans was the part that he left out. Nevertheless, he and Bill Clinton were there that one particular weekend after elections, and they were talking about the fact that George Bush was going to be the vice president again for another 4 years. And George Bush didn't particularly like this idea. He didn't like being in the public eye at all, but nevertheless he was going to do whatever it took to usher in the New World Order. Looking back at George Bush's past, you'll find out that he was first with the United Nations. Then he became a head of our CIA. And then it was my experience to know that George Bush was heavily involved in the Order of the Rose, as was every other perpetrator that I've mentioned, including Bill Clinton and Ronald Reagan. And it's important to note the orders from the Rose were orders from George Bush. George Bush, although he may not be at the very top of this world dominance effort, is a very significant player, and it was also my experience that Ronald Reagan followed orders from the Rose, and that Bill Clinton followed orders from the Rose. On this particular day, while they were talking, Bush said what I'd heard Senator Byrd say on different occasions, that when the American public became disillusioned with Republicans ushering in the New World Order, that they would put Bill Clinton in as a Democrat to make people think there was some kind of change going on in this country, when in fact there was no change at all. Their agendas are exactly the same. And they were discussing this and laughing at how they were going to pull the wool over the eyes of the American people. I was appalled to see Bill Clinton go into the office of president, and I know that Bill Clinton is following orders, as always, from George Bush and carrying out his orders of the Rose. It was also at this Lampe, Missouri compound that I was sexually assaulted by Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton both are considered to be bisexual, but it was my experience, although my experience with Bill Clinton sexually was extremely limited, I witnessed him involved in homosexual activity on several occasions, one being with my mind control handler, Alex Houston. Hillary Clinton was interested in the fact that I had been vaginally carved and mutilated. This was of interest to her. She thought it was absolutely fascinating. It was something that Senator Byrd had done in the early 80s to fulfill certain perversions and also to be used in pornography, particularly pornography by the White House chief pornographer, or by Reagan's chief pornographer, Larry Flynt, who has Hustler magazine. You'll notice that Larry Flynt uses CIA mind-controlled slaves in the pages of his filth magazines, and these girls are all electrically prodded, and it's very obvious to those with eyes to see exactly the tortures that these girls have endured, and the fact that they are not in control of their own thoughts, their own mind, their own lives, and their own actions. But Hillary thought it was real interesting, so not only that, but I also heard her say at that time that I was considered to be clean, free of any social diseases, because I was a presidential model. I carried out specific criminal covert operations throughout the Caribbean, including Haiti, which had been infested with the AIDS virus. And I would go directly from Haiti right back to the White House, and there was absolutely no protection used. They all knew that there was no risk. For whatever reason, certainly raises questions, nevertheless. It was Hillary that sexually assaulted me in Lampe, Missouri. There are many different operations that I was forced to carry out as a CIA mind control slave. These operations are detailed in our book, Transformation of America. Transformation of America is substantiated with sufficient documentation, witnesses, and testimony that we are certainly ready for any congressional hearings into the matter, because we've been stopped from any justice so far for reasons of national security. We want to overcome that. Hopefully, this book is going to incite someone to take action against exactly what's going on. And if for no other purpose, it will open the eyes of the American public to exactly who and what is running our country and for what purposes. And it makes a whole lot of what we're seeing going on in our society suddenly makes sense.
That people read The Predator Mind. It's so important, folks, because this is the way through the puzzle. You know, because the reality is that there's a predator here. Everybody is under mind control, folks. We've got this thing that makes us have wars all the time. You know, no matter how much we try to fix the world, we never get it fixed. No matter how much we try to fix the world, we never get it fixed, because the people that are running the world are completely overtaken by this predator mind. And this is what has caused all of these problems. And when we try to fix these problems, you know, we search for a way out, and we're not realizing how the predator works and what the predator is. I need to read you a little bit out of this passage by Don Juan, what he says. He calls this the topic of topics, the predator mind. And I've got to go through this so you understand how all this works, folks. Trust me on this. The predators, he says, they took us over because we are food for them, and they squeeze us mercilessly because we are their sustenance. Just as we rear chickens in chicken coops, the predators rear us in human coops, therefore their food is always available to them. I want to appeal to your analytical mind. Think for a moment and tell me how you would explain the contradiction between the intelligence of man the engineer and the stupidity of his belief systems or the stupidity of his contradictory behavior. It is the predators who have given us our systems of beliefs, our ideas of good and evil, our social mores. The predators are the ones who set up our hopes, our expectations and dreams of success or failure. They've given us covetousness, greed and cowardice. It is the predators who make us complacent, routinary and egomaniacal. In order to keep us obedient, meek and weak, the predators engage themselves in a stupendous maneuver. Stupendous, of course, from the point of view of the fighting strategist, but a horrendous maneuver from the point of view of those who suffer it. They gave us their mind. Do you hear me? The predators gave us their mind, which becomes our mind. The predator's mind is baroque, contradictory, morose, and filled with the fear of being discovered any minute now. I know that even though you have never suffered hunger, you have food anxiety, which is no other than the anxiety of the predator who feels that any moment its maneuver is going to be uncovered and its food is going to be denied. Through the mind, which after all is their mind, the predator injects into the lives of human beings whatever is convenient for them. The predators ensure in this manner a degree of security to act as a buffer against their fear. Okay, so that's how this predator works. And this predator is what it's talked of in all cultures, folks. I mean, the Africans call it the Chitahuri, the Gnostics called it the Archons, the Arabics call it the Jinn. I mean, it's in all cultures. They talk about this mind that gets in and infects you. The cultures of ancient or old Russia and such simply called it the social parasite. I think a lot of American Indian cultures also refer to it as the social parasite, also the Wakito virus. The thing that makes you do bad things even though you know they're bad and you do them anyway. Yeah, but it's this thing that makes you want to get things organized, and it's the brain chatter in your head and gives you the desires that you don't know why you're doing this, but you just do it anyway. It's the predator mind that makes this happen. And it's important to understand what the predator mind feeds on, because when you understand what its food is, you begin to see what the truth movement is and what we've been tricked into doing and what they're attempting to do now with this whole virtual reality thing and the whole flat earth thing and where it's all going. So just have a listen to this bit. Infant human beings are born as strange luminous balls of energy, covered from top to bottom with a glowing coat, something like a plastic cover that is tightly adjusted over their cocoon of energy. That glowing coat of awareness was what the predators consumed. And that when a human being reached adulthood, all that was left of that glowing coat of awareness was a narrow fringe that went from the ground to the top of the toes. That fringe permitted mankind to continue living, but only barely. Man was the only species that had that glowing cocoon of awareness outside that luminous cocoon. Therefore, he became easy prey for an awareness of a different order, such as the heavy awareness of the predator. This narrow fringe of awareness was the epicenter of self-reflection, where man was irremediably caught. By playing on our self-reflection, which is the only point of awareness left to us, the predators create flares of awareness that they proceed to consume in a ruthless and predatory fashion. They give us inane problems that force those flares of awareness to rise, and in this manner they keep us alive in order for them to be fed with the energetic flares of our pseudo-concerns. Just think about that, folks.